yeah, so I have now been vegan for over 5 years, and the hardest part from the beginning till now has been people's lack of understanding and rudeness. It hasn't been giving up the food or switching to different alternatives, because that's the secret. Like, it's like this kept secret that there's a vegan version of everything. Like, there are baby back vegan ribs, 7,000 times in my life. And I mean, like, losing it, screaming, losing it. And, yeah, I've got some issues, but it's been happening since I was a little kid. Like, people used to be like, oh, there goes Brooke again, freaking out, when I was like 6. And, yeah, and then I had to make one more warning, because somebody made another joke years of schooling, so don't